Well, good afternoon and welcome, and thank you for joining us today. At AWS, we work backwards from our customers' business outcomes to help them deliver on their mission. And this is what you'll hear about today in the collaboration, the partnership between AWS and the state of Georgia, and very specifically, the Georgia Department of Human Services, and how we work together to allow DHS to deliver on mission-critical services to over 2 million Georgians. Services that Sriji will walk through. Joining me today is Sriji Vijayan, a business transformational leader with greater than 25 years of experience delivering mission-critical systems across multiple different industries, including healthcare, education, energy, and elections across multiple states. Sriji joined the state of Georgia in August of 2020, first joining the Division of Family and Children Services, and more recently as the Chief Information Officer and the Deputy Secretary of Information Technology for the Department of Human Services. Thanks, Sriji, for joining us.
Thank you.
So today, we have structured our conversation into 5 sections. First, I'm going to start talking a little bit about the genesis of the partnership and the collaboration between AWS and the state of Georgia. Talk a little bit about what we see from our customers and what we hear from our customers every single day as they think about modernization and moving to the cloud. At that point, I'm going to actually ask Sriji to talk about the Georgia story, specifically the Georgia DHS mission, vision, the challenges they faced, what they actually did, what their roadmap looked like, their lessons learned, and also, maybe most importantly, their roadmap forward. And if we do our job correctly, we will leave time at the end for you to ask us any questions that you have as well. So as I mentioned earlier, AWS works backwards from our customers' business outcomes to help them deliver on their mission outcomes. And the things that we see and what we hear are very consistent. It doesn't matter if it's the government space, it's the education space, or the academic or medical space. 3 key areas which I have responsibility for AWS in the eastern half of the United States. But they look for the same consistent issues, or they're dealing with the same consistent issues as they think about modernization. And they're looking for support from AWS and our partners, some of you who are in this room, to help them with that journey, whether it's around the strategy, application development, testing, or ongoing operational maintenance or change management. First, limited access to data. And maybe more importantly, and a better way to state this, is the challenge that the C-suite of our customers has in being able to bring data together to make effective business decisions and to make those decisions with velocity. For over 30, 40 years, I've been in this industry for 30 years now, and we've seen the proliferation of different systems, different applications across multiple silos. And the challenge our customers face is how they bring all that rich data, all that historical data together to be able to actually connect dots and actually move with speed. And now we have customers who have been on their journey with AWS and our partners and are not only using that data to make decisions, but they're actually now using that data to help influence and make better decisions around policy. And that is a big step. Number 2 is the failure of legacy systems. And we probably saw the more of this during the COVID-19 pandemic than ever before. Systems that were running on the mainframe, call centers that were unable to take calls and the volume of calls that were coming in. And what has actually happened is during the COVID-19 pandemic, we actually saw governments and universities actually accelerate the adoption of cloud by maybe 2 to 3 years. However, a lot of those legacy systems still remain. And it doesn't matter what it is, whether it's central IT or it's around lines of business, those legacy systems remain as a challenge. And our customers continue to have a significant amount of technical debt that they need to go address. Number 3 is really around enabling a remote workforce. And I will say this is the one area where we saw a significant advancement by our customers and our partners out of necessity, right? During the COVID pandemic, we all went home, but we had to stay productive. We had to continue to deliver outcomes. And what we have seen is a lot of our customers have made a decision that this is the new normal. This is the way business is going to operate. This is the way education is going to operate. And this is the way government is going to operate going forward. And what they're trying to determine is what are those processes, what are the systems, and what are the tools that they're going to really roll out to be able to enable this new normal. The 4th key area we continue to see around a real focus on is the citizen experience. It doesn't matter if you're a citizen, it doesn't matter if it's a student, it doesn't matter if it's one of your knowledge workers across education, academic medical centers, or the government. The reality is the private sector has raised the bar and has set a new bar on how they expect to be able to transact, to collaborate, or to find information. And our customers are continuing to look for best practices on how to really move from an inline to online experience. And finally, number 5 is insufficient technology skills. Every one of our customers wants to provide the best experience they can to their employees and to their customers. However, technology skills or the lack of skills continues to be a gap where they're asking for our support and our partner support to really address quickly. A 2022 study commissioned by WorkScoop and FedScoop demonstrated that 7 out of 10 government IT leaders believe that the IT skills gap is a barrier in their ability to deliver on their mission. You will hear from Sriji that these challenges are the same ones that the Georgia Department of Human Services dealt with. At Georgia DHS, their IT environment was actually in the state's leased data center, with a number of their services outsourced to different providers. This created 2 barriers. First, change requests were a burden. They were too expensive, and they just took too long. And second, DHS did not have the skills they needed to be able to deliver and execute on the modernization journey that they really wanted to undertake. It was at this point where the AWS account team worked with Georgia DHS to really identify what were the things that AWS could do to really help support their journey, and what are the things that DHS could really own. And it was in these conversations where we needed to do 2 additional things. One was we really needed to educate the DHS team on what it meant to work in the cloud. And then number 2, we had to ensure that the security teams had a clear approach and a clear path to actually address government and federal compliance requirements. I really think the game changer here in this collaboration and in DHS's journey was when the AWS team introduced AWS Managed Services, or AMS. And there's a number of sessions going on this week with AMS. And what AMS provided was a single point that could really think about and deal with infrastructure management and ongoing operations. And that then allowed DHS to really go focus on what they did well and come up to speed while AMS addressed the actual migration to the cloud. And it was really at this point where the state of Georgia embraced and launched a cloud-first strategy. And DHS was the key agency that really took on that journey. And by taking on that journey head on, in partnership with AWS, it's allowing them to deliver a better citizen experience, it's lowering costs, it's addressing their skills gap, And interestingly, it's actually allowing them to accelerate even faster. And this is what Sriji is going to walk you through. He is leading the transformation of DHS, which if you're not aware, DHS is actually the largest agency in the state of Georgia. And the fact that you have the largest agency leading, straight into this journey is really quite astounding. With that, Sriji, thank you again for joining us. I'm sure that everyone here would love to hear about the Georgia story.
Thank you. So, thank you, Faisal, for laying the amazing foundation, as always. As Faisal introduced, my name is Sriji Vijayan, and I am the CIO for Georgia's Department of Human Services. I just want to start talking about Georgia's mission and also few critical applications that we migrated to cloud. To begin with my presentation, let me start our mission for Georgia's Department of Human Services. At DHS, our mission is to strengthen Georgia by providing individuals and families access to services that promote self-sufficiency, independence, and protect Georgia's vulnerable children and adults. DHS employs over 8,900 people with an annual budget of $1.89 billion. DHS comprises of 3 divisions: child services, child support services, aging services, and family and children services. At OIT, we accomplished this mission by supporting applications used by 8,000 caseworkers spread across 159 counties for all divisions and their programs. DHS provides benefits such as Medicaid, TANF, SNAP, WIC, which is Women's Infant Children, and also provides services towards child support, child welfare, and our aging populations, close to over 4.5 million citizens. Our vision is to build stronger families for stronger Georgia with the help of technology by leveraging over 75 applications, out of which 5 are key critical applications. Georgia Gateway, which is our integrated eligibility system, is the largest application infrastructure in the state of Georgia. Shines, which is Georgia's child welfare system. STARS, which is our child support system, is also maintained by the state. Division of Aging Services data system is to support our aging population. And document imaging system, which is an enterprise-wide document image and storage system for all the applications used in DHS. During pandemic, when we were all working remote, DHS OIT requested to migrate and modernize all our applications by June of 2023 from our aging on-premise environment onto AWS Cloud as part of the cloud-first strategy that Faisal was talking about. Like most of the states who have their systems in on-prem, we would have the same concerns as in maintaining and operating our applications in on-prem infrastructure. The concerns are limitations to real-time updates and alerts, lack of quick access to information, frequent system failures, and outages. So migrating to AWS Cloud is a no-brainer. We analyzed most of our critical applications and identified cloud migration challenges. Our challenges were, we did the planning and readiness phase, and we came to understand that we had antiquated technology. We had to actually do major version upgrades for all of our softwares and tools that was used in our on-prem. tools, softwares like IBM Rationals, Urban Code, Splunk, Remedy. Our Oracle database, which was on version 12, has to be upgraded to version 19. Our RHEL operating system, which was on version 7.9, needs to be upgraded to 8.4. Our Oracle business rule engine needs to be upgraded. Our Oracle database that was 10x needs to be upgraded to 12x to be migrated to cloud. All these softwares really required major version upgrades. Second, we had lack of cloud expertise in OIT when this initiative was brought. We had slow SLAs and service deliveries. Sometimes it could take our state and partners to up to 9 months to provision even a server. We also were not able to scale timely. The process to add a storage or a memory or increase the memory could take us from anywhere from 15 to 28 days. So most of our application that we have in OIT did not even have a disaster recovery. Those that had did not function properly. It would take us anywhere to 14 days to stand up and operationalize. We did not even have efficient process to update security controls needed to support our federal compliance needs. As I said earlier, we had 75 applications in various platforms that needs to be migrated. When I say 75 applications, not only production environment, we had to migrate both production and non-production environments. The non-production environments such as development, servers, SIT, and UATs. So all these needs to be migrated to cloud. So to address these challenges, our cloud strategy was to think big, start small, and scale fast with a multi-layered approach. As part of the cloud strategy, what we did first was to start the journey by establishing a partnership with Amazon Managed Services. Due to lack of cloud expertise, we decided to train and certify our team members on cloud platform. We decided to first migrate 3 of our major applications: Gateway, Shines, and DIS, Document Imaging System. We chose Georgia Gateway Integrated Eligibility System because we knew we had to handle public health emergency unwinding. So we decided to migrate with the help of our external vendor and support from AWS and Sysday team. We chose Shine system as we had planned lots of modernization projects to improve the quality of caseworkers supporting the child welfare systems. We decided to migrate mainframe applications and rest of the applications by June 2023. As we innovate and operationalize, we decided to build all the new applications or the modernization efforts in AWS Cloud. So let me brief you on our cloud journey. In fiscal year 2020, we established AWS Foundation. This is a critical foundational step to build the cloud operational model. We would recommend this step to be part of every cloud migration journey. We first established multi-account landing zone environment, which is used to accelerate cloud transformation journey. We established security guardrails as per DHS needs. We also established change management process. In fiscal year 2020, we also conducted training and onboarding as part of planning and readiness. We trained DHS security, DHS finance team, and our technology teams. We onboarded DHS cloud managed service teams. AWS supported our DHS staff in training and onboarding. This is still ongoing and continuous process. Fiscal year 2021, to 2022, which was our design and execution phase for our cloud journey. We planned to migrate the 3 systems to cloud in different intervals, as we realized we couldn't handle the post-migration support and after post-implementation challenges. So we developed and implemented first the bots automation system for eligibility system by December 2021. As I said, we already established the AWS foundation, so that helped us start working on the bot system. We successfully migrated Georgia Gateway eligibility system, which is our largest application infrastructure in the state of Georgia, by March 2022. We migrated document imaging system by April 2022. We finally migrated Shine's child welfare information system by June 2022. So moving to the cloud really had a lasting impact and improvements on Georgia's citizens. First, we improved batch process information by over 50% across the board for both gateway and child welfare systems. This improved the processing time for caseworkers to provide benefits and services to the citizens of Georgia in a very timely manner. Surprisingly, our application performance went 2 times faster than before. Before I talk about the 100,000 concurrent citizens login, I would like to share a story about our experience with a new program called Governor's One-Time Cash Assistance that actually benefited 3.5 million Georgian citizens. Our governor, Brian P. Kemp, has dedicated more than $1 billion to Department of Human Services to provide cash assistance of up to $350 per individual for all those enrolled and actively receiving Medicaid, Peach Care for Kids, SNAP, TANF. Our commissioner later included foster care families to receive the cash assistance from this program. In August of this year, DHS accepted this challenges initiative to roll out this program in September 2022. We successfully rolled out this program in 4 weeks. Because we were in cloud. If we were on-prem, it would have taken us over 5 months to implement this program. And to be frank, I'm not sure if we would be successful based on our post-rollout experience that we had with this program. Our plan was to distribute $350 for each individual, first via virtual debit cards for those who have actually signed up for Go Green, and later by plastic cards for those who have opted for mail-ins. Suddenly, our gateway system experienced a heavy volume of traffic into our customer portal and mobile application because people were signing up for Go Greens and checking their eligibility status to receive this cash assistance. We had close to 1 million hits each day for a few weeks. We were able to support 100,000 concurrent user logins every 15 minutes to the customer portal and mobile applications. We were able to meet this demand by scaling this application with few clicks to support the increased volume. So I will say that this program not only benefited 3.5 million Georgian residents, but also helped our IT team to validate the cloud migrated gateway systems capacity and performance. This experience, you can say, is a perfect example of our planning and preparation that enabled us to meet the unexpected demand of our business needs. Leveraging the speed, flexibility, and agility of the cloud allowed us to seamlessly scale and successfully deliver on a program that was created overnight. I want to stress again on the fact that this would have not been possible with the limitation of our legacy on-prem environment. And we feel very confident that with the capabilities of the AWS Cloud, we are prepared to support the needs of our business, which will benefit the citizens of Georgia and will ultimately help us manage public health emergency unwinding from the infrastructure and application performance perspective. I am happy to report that we now have a working disaster recovery for all our 3 critical applications that we migrated to cloud. This is 14 times improvement to our SLA than compared to our on-prem. We have also improved our security and compliance by migrating to AWS Cloud, which made it easier to meet our CMS MARC 2.2 compliance and changing federal compliance needs. Coming to our cloud migrations journeys, lesson learned. With effective capacity planning, we consolidated 14 gateway environments to 7 environments by leveraging additional profiles to save licensing cost. We first started building the production environment so we can engage our third-party auditors early in the planning process to successfully complete their independent assessment, and also bring our federal agencies early during the planning and design phase. We also planned to do major upgrades to all our supporting software and tools to leverage the same testing timelines and the use cases. With no doubt, AMS is a game changer. We engaged Amazon Managed Services to provide our necessary cloud framework for migration. Coming from an outsourced IT model, we were accustomed to service provider managing our infrastructure, so AMS was a natural fit. AMS handled all the infrastructure management, including patching, monitoring, and governance. This has helped us scale and operate more efficiently and securely in the cloud and allowed our team to focus more on innovating and driving business outcomes. The key is to establish foundation early. At the beginning of our cloud journey, we partnered with AWS to train and educate our team members in cloud technology. It was critical to our success to ensure our staff would be proficient in the new cloud operating model. The AWS team conducted a variety of different trainings and hands-on lab focused in specific areas based on our team's needs. Most recently, to continue with the state's training needs, AWS partnered with Georgia Technology Authority to provide series of instructor-led trainings that have been made available to DHS and other state agencies. These trainings were in system ops, architecting, security, and developing on AWS, which has provided additional layer of knowledge and skills to our team to enhance our cloud capabilities. From our experience in migrating to cloud, we recommend doing dry runs to validate cutover activities and deploy, giving yourself a window by planning production migration over a long weekend to provide sufficient time for cutover activities and conduct post-migration system validations. Finally, cost savings was one of the factors, but we find that ability to scale and agility to support the growing business needs is the most important aspect to the cloud migration. DHS has migrated 3 critical applications to the cloud. We have started on a journey of modernization. We continue to innovate and modernize across all program platforms. To name few, we started implementing mobility project for child welfare divisions that enables caseworker to do their daily activities in the field, offline and online mode, and also have access to their real-time information from our Shine system. Previously, they did not have real-time information in the field. They had to collect those information in the paper, come back, get those data, or upload certain documents into the Shine system. But this mobility project helped the caseworker to do all these activities in the field, no matter if they're online or offline. So this actually improved their day-to-day activities. We also developed community portal, which is a provider portal, which is now called Argo, using our Salesforce platform for child welfare providers. Previously, even to identify a delivered service provider or a placement provider, we had to do multiple calls or send emails, do communication that actually delayed those providers to provide their services and also document their services in the system. So this community portal actually helps the providers from the child welfare agencies to actually provide real-time information and also get real-time information from our Shine system. To meet federal compliance requirement, we are now implementing multi-factor authentications that we did not have in our Gateways worker portal. So we started working on the multi-factor authentications by using Okta. We continue to develop bots to improve caseworkers' performance. Our mobile applications have moved to microservices-based architecture, which has enabled us to leverage AWS services. We are in the process of migrating our legacy mainframe applications and rest of the applications to AWS Cloud, and we are targeting it to be completed by June of 2023. We continue to make enhancements for better citizen experience in cloud. We continue to provide AWS training and certifications to strengthen the team. Actually, please feel free to contact us for more details or state on our cloud journey, and we would be happy to share our experience with the state and certain documents that you require. Before I hand over to my AWS partner, I really wanted to take this opportunity to thank our DHS Commissioner, Candice Bross, Chief of Staff, Craig Foster, our Georgia Technology Authority team, headed by our state CIO, Shanzia Thomas, Office of Planning and Budgeting team from Governor's Office, and my dedicated OIT team members. Without their support, it would not have been possible to implement and proceed this cloud journey as planned. I wanted to personally thank our AWS partners, Faisal Hanafi, Chris Foster, Kurt Skars, and Tammy Key, for their continued partnership through our cloud journey and for the opportunity to share Georgia's experience in this event. Thank you, and I'll hand it over to Faisal.
Thanks, Peter. Thank you, Sriji. My mic on? Yeah. So I got to say, I mean, when I really think about what DHS has accomplished, just to put it in perspective, you have the largest department in a state that worked backwards from their outcomes and their mission and developed a strategy on what it would take to deliver on those outcomes. And they made a top-down decision to work with partners and embrace a journey to the cloud. And as they've done that, they've improved their citizen experience. They've got incredibly resilient and secure systems. They've lowered their costs. They've trained their teams to be self-sufficient. And they've accelerated their pace of innovation. Not only have they done that, they've actually now created a framework and a blueprint for other state of Georgia departments to follow their lead. So great job, Sriji, well done. Now, I'm gonna date myself here a little bit. This is my 30th year in this industry, working in IT. And Sriji, I mentioned earlier, you've had about 25 years of experience in this industry as well. Listen, we've both been through projects that have gone well, and we learned lessons, right? What was it about this project and about this collaboration between DHS and AWS that you think made it work so well?
So, Faisal, in the past, we used to have vendors who used to come and deliver projects, and I used to treat it as a transaction or a milestone delivery. But with AWS, from the get-go, we made this partnership to understand what is our needs in basically state and federal requirements, business needs, security needs, working, because as I said, we had lack of cloud expertise. Bringing in AMS was a game changer. AMS actually helped us strategize cloud, helped us in understanding and validating our architects, worked with our federal partners. So basically, AMS was like an extended partner. So that is what changed. And it brought to success to our DHS. If not, I'll say, I would have contracted this to a vendor, received, and written another change order to maintain the system. But now, since all these systems are managed by AMS and state team, I know what is happening in the Department of Human Services.
Right.
I also, or our team, can also scale the system. AWS, AMS team is just a phone call away. So that's what I like. I never had any, minimal downtimes compared to what was on-prem. If I had problems with on-prem, I have to raise a ticket, wait for what's going to happen. But this, the alerts that I get, if any system is down, those are all what I really like about AWS.
That's great. I appreciate that feedback and the kind words. Listen, we have folks in the audience, some who may be users of AWS, some who may be partners of AWS, some who may be in the same place you were 2 years ago. If you had one lesson for them or one best practice that they could walk away with, what would that be?
See, we had the largest application infrastructure. I would see, basically my first thought point about AWS moving to cloud is just cost savings. But cost savings is not just the only objective for large cloud migrations.
Right.
I experienced, like I told you about the cash assistance program. I think we are lucky to have that program to validate, because even to document a lesson learned, it takes a year to understand what is actually happening. But within 3 months after we going live with gateway system, right, we had this opportunity to support such a large initiative in a short period of time. So I will say, the flexibility, the speed, the agility to support our changing business needs, even overnight, I will say that needs to be considered over cost savings. Or or I'll say along with the cost savings, not over cost savings, along with the cost savings. So the agility, the scalability, and the ability to handle volumes, even to scale our system, that's what I'll say.
That's great. I think that's really important because, just to play that back, you walked in with a view that this was really about saving money.
Yeah.
But what you realized was not only did you save money and your costs went down from an operational standpoint, but just what it enabled around the experience and the agility and the scalability, the resiliency was really critical to your ability to deliver that experience. That's fantastic. So everyone, I want to thank you for staying with us, for joining us this afternoon. I really, both Sriji and I really hope this was helpful. We hope it was beneficial. I promised you we'd leave some time for Q&A. There is time for Q&A. We will be here. You're welcome to ask questions now. You're welcome to come up. On the slide is our contact information. We left this up here on purpose. Feel free to reach out to either Sriji or myself if there are any questions, any comments. With that, we thank you for your time. Thank you.
Thank you.